So I grew up in Colorado, and in Colorado, how better else to play than on great turf grass? But sometimes we kind of wonder about what kind of grass we have available, and to help answer that questions, Brian from Graf's Turf Farm is joining me. How are you?
I'm good.
So tell us where we are today.
We're at the Market Carpenter Park in Thornton, where we installed a little over 1 million square feet of sod over the past about 16 months.
Now, what kind of sod did you choose for this location?
This is our GTF Premium Kentucky Bluegrass.
And what made you choose that variety for this location?
Overall wear tolerance, color, the drought tolerance of it as well, and just the amount of sod we had here. This is the only product we had that much available.
Well, and what's interesting is there isn't just bluegrass available. When you talk bluegrass, there's a lot of different varieties in that category.
There are. We have a product called Reveille, which is a Texas hybrid bluegrass, which uses about 30 to 40% less water than standard bluegrass.
But how does it do with foot traffic?
It does fairly well, not as well as a standard bluegrass, but it still does pretty well.
So there's a lot of options. Now, unfortunately, sometimes one of the things that happens is there's a lot of negative myths that surround bluegrass turf.
Yes.
And when we hear water restrictions, people almost have this desire to rip up the turf and put in rock. But we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
What's the result of taking out turf on a home?
You can actually create what's called a heat island, where if you're taking out the sod, which has a cooling effect, and adding rock or plants that don't use any water and radiate heat, it'll actually heat your home. And you're going to use more energy, more electricity, and more inputs to cool your home than you would if you had a lawn around it.
Now, one of the things that I know of that's critically important is doing good prep before you put down sod, because sod, even though it has this perception of sucking up a lot of water, that isn't necessarily true.
No, the better the prep work, the better your roots are going to be. So the deeper your roots, the less water your sod's going to use. So if you prep your soil to a depth of 6 to 8 inches and you get roots that deep, your sod's going to handle any drought that you throw at it.
Now, one of the great things that I think most people don't realize is that if there's like all-out water restrictions and you cannot water turf, and that means fescue, rye, or bluegrass,
Yes.
there's only one variety once that drought restrictions are lifted, that when you start to water it again, it has the ability to go from a dormant phase to back to life.
And that is Kentucky Bluegrass.
So it's a really great option for people to use and should be considered in all homes. Plus, if you have children,
Yes, there's no better grass realistically for kids to run around and play on than Kentucky Bluegrass.
so and everybody can find you guys, and you have all these different varieties available. And
Yeah.
not only do you have the sod available, but you guys will install it, because installing sod is not easy work.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a rather large undertaking sometimes, but yeah, you can reach us at grafsturffarms.com, and we do any step of the process from the prep to the install to maintenance after the fact.
That's a lot of work. So I think I'd be calling you, Brian, to
Okay.
prep my turf. So thanks for joining us.
No problem.
For all the information on Graf's Turf Farm, make sure to check us out at digincolorado.com.